Welcome to the Comic Storian channel, where we take some of your favorite comic books, video games, and movies, and we break down the universe that they are within. We tell you the stories by giving you a synopsis of the comic books or the video game or the movie lore, and we bring it to you as an audio drama. We allow you to keep up with your favorite pop culture universe while getting on with your day-to-day life. And today, we're going to be bringing out a classic tale, one that is much requested here at the channel, one that kind of has a lot to do with a big event happening over at Marvel right now called Absolute Carnage. To celebrate Carnage, one of my all-time favorite villains, finally getting his limelight over at Marvel in recent years, we decided to cover one of the more classic tales, the Maximum Carnage storyline. There isn't that much to go over. What you really need to know is that this story took place in the 90s. So a lot of characters are going to act a little bit different, and things like Peter Parker is currently married to Mary Jane. Currently, his father is around because apparently he was actually kept in a Soviet prison for 20 years during this period in continuity. Those are kind of the two key elements you do need to be aware of. Other than that, let's enjoy Maximum Carnage! At Ravencroft, a maximum security institution for the criminally insane, the serial killer Cletus Cassidy sings while 5 armed officers bring him to his doctor's appointment. The officers open the door to the examination room and they tell Dr. Pornella that her patient has arrived. Dr. Landis asks if it's really a good idea. This is a man dressed up in a gaudy red costume and he slaughtered hundreds. Pornella tells Landis to relax. Cassidy has been residing in the vault. They have given him a clean bill of health aside from the unexplained anomaly in his blood. Well, that sounds pretty scary. You better be careful though. There's a monster living in my blood. Don't want it to be accidentally freed. Pornella takes Cletus's blood, but as she turns around, Carnage pours out of where Cletus was stuck, and he yells, "I wasn't lying! There's a monster in there!" As the symbiote wraps itself around Cletus's body, a tendril shoots out from his arm and into one of the officers. Once Cletus is completely covered, he breaks free from his restraints, shouting, "You should have known better than to trust a raving lunatic!" Carnage begins to slash away at all of the officers and other doctors until only Pornella remains. Pornella tells him to please let her go. She is his only hope. She can ease the pain. And Carnage tells her, "I am deeply touched by your sincerity, but unfortunately for you, your entire life has been a sick joke. A total waste. Not only are you irresponsibly releasing the worst serial killer of all, but I'm going to celebrate my newfound freedom by slaying everyone here." Moments later, as Carnage cleaves his way through the halls, he shouts to everyone to put a little more life into it. "I need more practice. I need to be my best for my long-awaited reunion with Spider-Man and Venom." But as Carnage hacks his way through the personnel, a voice calls out to him yelling, "That's the spirit! Keep killing!" Carnage stops and asks, "What is this?" He seems to have acquired a cheering section. "What kind of a nutcase would egg me on?" He rips the door off the cell where the voice came from, and inside a woman asks, "Why did you stop torturing these people?" "I was really into this in high-pitched tones. Big fan, by the way." Carnage walks in stating, "Oh, mama! Something tells me you're my type of girl. Kill here often." The woman tells him that her name is Shriek, and that this could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Cut her free and let her join in on the slaughter circuit. Carnage asks, "Why would I share my action?" And Shriek says, "Because you have nothing to lose and so much to gain. Besides, haven't you heard? 2 can kill as cheaply as 1. Later, as Carnage is singing while carrying Shriek and swinging through the city, Shriek asks, "What's your story? What is your tale of woe?" Carnage explains that he used to be your standard, shy, underachieving serial killer until some bureaucratic screw-up stuffed him into a holding cell with Eddie Brock. Eddie was his kind of people, though, real sicko. But I was still planning on killing him. But then an unexpected visitor came calling, an alien symbiote, and it turned Eddie back into Venom. Unfortunately for them, though, in their rush to escape the prison, they accidentally left a little souvenir behind. Life would be grand if Spider-Man and Venom hadn't decided to temporarily put aside their differences and gang up against me. I might still have beaten them if that wall crawler hadn't cheated and used Sonics to catch both me and Venom by surprise. But from what it seems, my symbiote managed to mutate my metabolism through one of the cuts that I had gotten in the fight. Not sure how, but I can generate a dead ringer of a symbiote." Just then a shadow swings by on a string of web. And Carnage asks, "Is this my lucky day? Because I do believe there's a spider in that alley." But as he gets close, the shadow jumps out and a 6-armed Spider-Man doppelganger springs out growling. Carnage looks at him. Hey, that's supposed to be my line, and I'm supposed to be the monster here. Shriek tells him to correct her if she's wrong, but that is definitely not your parents' Spider-Man. Carnage knocks Doppelganger back, but he swipes away at Carnage's tendrils and lunges forward. Carnage says that while he was locked up, he did hear some goofy rumors about a pack of evil duplicates from outer space. But nah, it was all too hokey for words. Shriek tells him actually he's kind of cute. Cute in a sick, utterly deranged sort of way. Carnage begins wrapping the doppelganger up, stating, "You're gonna have to get over it. Killing is what I do." And just before Carnage can squeeze the life out of the doppelganger, Shriek fires a sonic blast separating the two of them. Carnage shouts, asking, "Since when have you been able to do that?" Shriek pets the doppelganger, stating that every woman likes to keep a few secrets, and that's not all she wants to keep. So Carnage sighs, "Oh, all right. Baby makes 3. He can keep you company while some personal business is settled." Meanwhile, across town, Peter Parker stops at a local Chinese takeout joint to get some dinner for him and Mary Jane when he stops to listen to the radio in store. He's been doing the Spider-Man thing for so long that he's supposed to be taking a break from crime fighting. But as he hears reports of a bizarre massacre at Ravencroft Institute, he quickly leaves before even getting his food. He runs into an alleyway nearby, changing into Spider-Man, telling himself that he really hopes it's not Cassidy. But that's really the only person that it could be. He climbs up the building and swings across the city when suddenly his spidey sense goes off. He narrowly dodges being hit by a sonic blast when Doppelganger lunges at him. He asks, "What's this? Some Spider-Man doppelganger and a weird-looking lady?" Shriek tells him that he's the one wearing the web-covered spandex, so he should think about who the weird one is. Doppelganger just misses Spider-Man landing on the ground, but jumps it back up, charging in once again. Spider-Man spins around, punching him in the face, and then springs forward, knocking him back. Just before landing, the Doppelganger continues punching Spider-Man with all of his arms, knocking the wind out of him. Spider-Man gasps for air as he webs up Doppelganger's feet, but there's an ear-piercing shriek as another sonic blast is fired. Spider-Man webs up the rest of Doppelganger's arms and jumps up, and Shriek says that she can see why Carnage hates him. He's always hopping around. So Spider-Man asks, how does she know Carnage? And Shriek asks, haven't you heard? The two of us are an item. As Spider-Man continues to jump out of the way of Shriek's blast, he jumps down and hits Shriek in the forehead, stunning her. There's a loud growl, and the Doppelganger throws himself into Spider-Man, shattering several ribs. Spider-Man's body is flung off the ledge, bouncing off the buildings before landing into the garbage below. He gets ready to follow, but seeing Shriek knocked out, Doppelganger picks her up and escapes. Spider-Man sees the Doppelganger swing by and gets ready to give chase, but still feeling the pain from the cracked ribs, he falls over and passes out. Meanwhile, at the Daily Bugle, J. Jonah Jameson opens his office doors to see Carnage sitting right on his desk. Carnage says, "Hi, honey, I'm back! Can you guess who's gonna help me go on a Venom hunt? I'll give you one hint. He's turning a sickly shade of green right now before my eyes." Back with Spider-Man, he reels from the pain as he tries to get up when a group of street thugs surround him. Just then, Cloak and Dagger appear, asking, "Do you really expect us to sit by while a defenseless man is murdered?" Dagger throws light blasts at the men, blinding them, while Cloak rounds them up, getting ready to teleport them away. Dagger then stops him, stating that everyone is disarmed. They have to help Spider-Man. A short while later, inside of the Holy Ghost Church, Spider-Man screams as his ribs are set back into place. Cloak asks what happened. Spider-Man groans as he leans up, stating that he just ran into some sonic-powered lunatic named Shriek and a leftover doppelganger from the Infinity Wars on her leash. Don't get him started on the Carnage the Barbarian. Dagger then says that maybe he should stay and rest. But Spider-Man tells her that he appreciates her concern, but he needs to get right back out there. Just then, the Spidey sense begins to go off, and the doppelganger bursts through the window, shooting webs everywhere. A strand just misses Spider-Man, and he tells everyone to be careful. That's razor-barbed webbing. Spider-Man then begins to ask where is the doppelganger's keep, when suddenly there's a loud thoom, and a sonic blast destroys the roof of the church. Shriek jumps down asking, "Did I kill everyone in one fell swoop?" Spider-Man jumps out of Cloak's shadow, stating, "No, a little spider warned me at last second." Cloak then looks at Shriek and says that she looks familiar. And Shriek tells her, "That's right, I was merely a downtown drug dealer trying to make ends meet when your endless black abyss first introduced me to the satisfaction of madness years ago. Since then, I've refined my abilities into a work of art, and I wanted to thank you." The doppelganger launches himself up, tackling Spider-Man to the ground. And Spider-Man shouts, "Can someone get this thing off me?" As the five struggle in fighting each other and not hitting, a thug is thrown in from the front door and a voice asks, "What is going on here?" Carnage walks in asking,
I was hoping you didn't eat him without me.
Doppelganger begins to shoot more razor webbing, and Cloak jumps in front, allowing it to fire into the void while Spider-Man webs up Shriek's hands and face. As he jumps around to the wall, though, Carnage shoots out tendrils from his fingertips, asking,
And where do you think you're going?
The ends of the tendrils all start stabbing into the wall, creating a cage. And Carnage then says,
Oh, would you look at that? A trapped spider.
Spider-Man says that he's got to admit, it really does look bad for the good guys. He's got nowhere to go but down. He kicks off the wall and punches down into Carnage's head while the others try to handle Shriek and the Doppelganger. Spider-Man starts laying into Carnage, but a tendril from his chest shoots out, slashing into Spider-Man's side. Shriek focuses her blast on Dagger, shouting that the light shields are weak. Her beloved Cloak literally drove her insane. So the very least that she can do is pay him back in kind by murdering his pathetic guardian angel right before his helpless eyes. Dagger screams as an explosion of light blinds everyone, knocking them back. Carnage jumps up to his feet, hitting Shriek, shouting the privilege of slaughtering Spider-Man is his!
Soon you will learn what it means to cross Carnage!
But just before Carnage can hit her again, the Doppelganger leaps out, allowing Shriek to escape. A short while later, Spider-Man and Cloak start to get back up when Cloak realizes what happened to Dagger, and he screams out her name. Cloak begins shaking with anger, shouting that the witch destroyed the one thing on the planet that mattered to him. Spider-Man gets up, stating that he needs to take it easy, but Cloak says that he saw what happened to her. After all they've been through, just to watch her burst into light, to disappear in a flash, she didn't even leave anything to bury. Spider-Man tries to calm Cloak down, but Cloak yells that he will not come down. He just lost family. His blood won't cool until the scum responsible for Dagger's death is paid. With a blink of an eye, Cloak fades into the shadows. Across town on a rooftop, Carnage falls right behind Shriek, telling her,
That was an edgy move, going after Spider-Man on your own.
But she responds, Oh, come on, Carnage. A kill's a kill. Heck, you dust people all the time. And Carnage yells,
That's different! The web-slinger's mine! Every bone and sinew, every drop of blood and bile! Mine!
Shriek says, Geez, I just thought. And Carnage stops her, yelling,
Thought? Sweet cheeks. That's a vile habit you best learn to break.
Just as Carnage leans in, the Doppelganger lunges at him, and Carnage says,
Oh look, the pet is feeling protective.
He whips a tendril from his back, knocking the Doppelganger away. And he tells him,
Back off, bug!
He turns back, pulling back his mask, stating that there's only one leader to this band, and she's looking at him. Shriek wraps his arms around Carnage, stating that that's what she likes about him, besides the fact that he mangles people real neat-like. He's just so masterful. Treat her right and she'll follow him all the way. He pulls his mask back, stating,
That's more like it. How about we celebrate and slaughter a few unsuspecting geeks together?
Later, down in Central Park, an older couple is on their way from spending the day out when the wife says they should have gone down Columbus. Going through the park at night is dangerous. And the husband laughs, Oh, right, scary, what could possibly... But that's when Carnage stabs through the roof, ripping it off, asking,
Why do you keep your weathers up? It's convertible weather. Live a little, okay. A very little.
Shriek yells, That's real fair, after all the griping about how she was hogging the kills. And Carnage tells her,
You're right. Would you like to settle for a corpse disposal instead?
She blasts the car and the bodies inside, stating, Okay. But the sounds of the explosion travel, and an officer runs up, telling Shriek to freeze. She asks if he's kidding. She wouldn't miss this for the world. Stick him, Doppelganger! Suddenly, the razor-sharp barbed webbing wraps itself around the officer's neck, and with one pull of the cord, there's a loud scratch. Carnage walks up with his hand on his hip, stating,
This is what it's all about, kiddos. Bloodshed and chaos. So what say we go find ourselves some real nice folks to share the joy with?
Across town, Spider-Man swings through the city trying to locate Carnage when he notices a streak of fire shooting across the sky. He follows it, and when he turns the corner, he sees Demo Goblin flying by. Spider-Man tries to keep a safe distance behind him to follow, but when Demo Goblin sees Spider-Man's reflection in the mirror, he takes off. Spider-Man quickly whips around the corner, but by the time he sees where the flames went, Demo Goblin flies overhead, throwing a black pumpkin bomb. Spider-Man swings away from it, stating that he's seen these before, but this one isn't exploding. Just then, the black goo shoots out of the bomb, covering Spider-Man and knocking him to the ground. Some people go to try and help Spider-Man, telling him that he needs to get up, but Spider-Man yells, I can't! What's the use? Why even try? The Demo Goblin picks up Spider-Man and tells him, Yes, that was no ordinary bomb. It was meant to give the person a taste of what all sinners must eventually face,
unending despair and torment. A priest holds up a cross stating to release Spider-Man. By all that's holy! The Demogoblin looks back, hitting the priest stating, "You shall burn next, man of God." Spider-Man struggles to break free from the darkness, and he says that the answer has always been inside of him, and it's hope. He punches the Demogoblin back, and then the Spidey sense goes off as he throws an orange pumpkin bomb. Spider-Man grabs the priest, jumping out of the way of the explosion, but the impact of landing damages the already cracked ribs. As Spider-Man gets up, he tells himself that he can't show that he's hurting, and Demogoblin flies off into the sky. The thought of falling crosses Spider-Man's mind, but for now, he's gonna have to cut his losses and head home. Back over in Central Park, though, the bodies are now beginning to pile up, with Carnage stating that he's going to need a calculator soon. I can't even keep up! And that's when a voice shouts, "Monstrosity! We're gonna take a gallon of your blood for every innocent drop that you've spilled." As Venom swings down, Carnage yells, "Whoa! Pop! Didn't expect to see you here! But hey, stick around! We got some new friends I'd like you to meet." Later, over at Spider-Man's Soho apartment, there's a knock at the door. Mary Jane goes to answer it, but when she sees who it is, she gasps. Spider-Man jumps over the couch, asking, "Who is it?" And as a beaten and battered Eddie Brock falls in, Mary Jane says, "I think it's Venom." And there you have it, part 1 of Maximum Carnage. Now, if you want to get early access to the follow-up stories in this tale, join us over at Patreon and become a premium Comic Storian member, where we give you early access to a ton of our videos over there, along with unedited versions of our podcast for only $2. Come on over, join the premium membership, or just wait here for us to release it here, because we will be releasing it. I mean, come on, it's Maximum Carnage! Now, let me know in the comments down below how much you love Carnage, because if you don't want this channel to die, we need you to give us some interactions, which means give this video a like and tell us why Carnage is amazing in the comments down below, or why you hate Carnage, that too, that would also work. Either way, I'll see you guys next time right here.